we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real, relevant, and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Well, yes, it is the Kim Jacobs Show, and I'm super excited to be here today with Cathay Dawkins. And listen, it's a special episode today because wherever you all are, make sure that you go ahead and grab your virtual seats. Let us know where you're visiting in from and get ready for some hearty discussion. How are you, Cathay, over there?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing even better. I know you have had a busy schedule.
Yes.
You have a lot going on.
Yes, but I've learned that, organization is key. But yes, it is a lot happening.
That's a good thing. That means that God is, in my opinion, that God is using you and he trusts you to be able to do what he's expecting to have happen through your hands, you know?
Amen. Yes.
So I'm
I
excited
agree.
about it. I'm excited about it. And
I'm
look,
excited
I've
too.
had the pleasure of actually knowing you back in the day a little bit, you know? So watching you grow and develop and blossom into everything that God has really created you to be, I'm super excited for you. And you never know when you're crossing paths or even connecting paths with people, what
Right.
God has in store for that individual,
That
you
is
know?
right. And you've interviewed me before, so I'm so grateful for that, and grateful to be back on your show.
Thank you. Thank you for gracing us with your presence. Listen, everybody, for those of you that don't know Cathay Dawkins, we're going to talk more about some of his backstory and give you a chance to learn more about him. But he's an innovator. He is a chairman of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber of Commerce. He's also a two-time Power 100 winner. He's also Great 28 Charlotte Difference Makers. And I'm super excited about that. He's a political strategist and also the founder of Black Business Owners of Charlotte. And many people know about Black Friday, Black Food Truck Fridays, which is a huge thing throughout the Charlotte area. Now, even though I'm welcoming you, we're actually in 100 countries. So everybody may not, they be like, what y'all talking about over there?
I know, right?
But you don't understand. Wherever you are, you're probably going to get a taste of Cathay at some point in your lifetime, too. So welcome, Cathay, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the amazing introduction. I appreciate this opportunity.
Well, we are in for a treat because there is so much happening right now in the land. And before we even jump into all of that, I really want people to get a chance. On this show, we talk about how people balance all different aspects of their lives. And so you can go back as far as you like just to tell us, where did all of this become a passion for you in your journey called life? How did you become interested in even being who God created you to be today? So just take us a little bit on your backstory and your back journey.
Yes, and the pandemic actually gave me a lot of time to reflect on my life, and so I think, as you can see behind me, plants keep me grounded. And the story of how I became so attached to plants is really my aunts and my great aunts and uncles as well. So as a child, my dad was a builder, a carpenter. And my dream was, okay, he build the houses. My brother create fences and decks, and I'll landscape the yards. And so I one of so early on, entrepreneurship was all around me,
Mm-hmm.
and so I didn't know anything other than work for myself as a man. A man should, that's what I grew up thinking, that everybody's father was, had a business. And so,
And I
and
put that plant picture up there. There you go.
yeah, so plants, I always encourage people, no matter what you're doing, to find something that grounds you, especially in times like as of now, challenging times that we feel like we're helpless and we don't have control.
Right.
Grounding yourself, surrounding yourself with things that make you happy, that align with your values, is what I encourage other people to do. That's more important than anything else, because you need to be grounded before you step out of the door into the world that you cannot control.
That's good. That's good. And so you say plants. You used to landscape. Landscape.
Yes, man.
Okay.
Landscaping birth my entrepreneurship journey. I started landscaping when I was 7, 8 years old, and it actually became a business. So by the time I was 12, by the time I became 12, I would go to the houses that my dad built, and he would give me an opportunity to go out and like plant flowers, and he would be like, design it, write it down. He would take the pencil out his ear. He would sharpen his pencil with a knife. Actually, he had that type of pencil,
Right, right, right.
and those flatter pencils. But he would show me how to, scale and like, the height, the tallest plant should go here, and it's just things that I did, get more education and learning, and through college and things like that. But my dad taught me early on about the value of plants and entrepreneurship, and so that just led to me to really just want to explore, learn more and more and more about business.
Mhm.
And so again, by the time I became 12, I was landscaping hairstylists and other black entrepreneurs in the area. And I even landscaped the home of a doctor, a really popular doctor in our neighborhood. And so by the time I got to college, I knew that I was there to get a degree that's going to help me launch my businesses. That was my mentality.
Wow. And so when little did you know though that at that time with your dad, he was pouring into you, helping you become everything that he believed you could become, but he probably didn't know what you were really going to become, right?
Yes, and I had no idea what my journey would look like,
Hmm.
but I would say he prepared me by the time I was 12. And it's interesting, if they were to go and see previous shows when I was on your show,
Yeah.
I was but at the time my daddy, I think, had just passed away, and I was still reflecting on his journey. And at the time it was a lot of disconnect. I thought I valued, but I did not value as much as I do now of who he was. Um and that was because of the challenges that he faced. But I now know like his challenges kept me from those things. Like the things that he battled with, I didn't have to fight. And so, some parents leave kids trusts, like actual money in the bank. My dad left me knowledge. He left me research and training. He taught me things that no one has ever taught me. So, for instance, when I was a kid and I would ask a question, he purchased an encyclopedia. At the time, I was like, "It's not a new encyclopedia; it's a used encyclopedia." That's how like spoiled I
Right.
was. And he had bought me several things like that, National Geographics, like the whole like all of the volumes or whatever. And he bought me all these encyclopedias, and he would be like, "I bought you an encyclopedia for a reason." If I asked him a question,
Right.
and he would go, "Do your research, then come back and ask me a question."
Mm, mm.
And I hated it, but now I get it because in everything I do, you have to research, you have to source, you have to know how to citate and
That's right.
just and you have to be able to communicate. And so by the time I was 8, 9 years old, I was reading on a middle school level. Like I had won from for South Carolina this
Right.
reading contest. At the time, they used to do the pizzas. If you
Okay. Right.
read,
Right. I know what you're talking
I
about.
was yeah. So like that got me on this journey to today. I feel like that work ethic really set me up for today and to be able to do a whole bunch of things at once.
That's a blessing.
Um, yeah,
That is a
and doing well.
blessing, and you do it well. So you give kudos and tribute to your dad. I was looking here on your Facebook page to see if there was a picture up here of you and your dad. I was going through all of like a sleuth back here, but but I see that you really honor your dad and give homage to him that he helped cultivate who you ultimately became by just being a stickler and saying, read the encyclopedia, do the research, do your due diligence, then come back. And if you still have a question, you can ask me then, but only after you've done your part.
Right, and I would definitely most things you would see of my mom and my stepdad. So I do want to also my mom and stepdad were amazing in my life and nurtured me and are just as amazing and the reason, their nurturing is the reasons why I'm here as well. It's just that I never gave my dad credit that he deserved because
Interesting.
of how other people perceived him, and now I know that that perception was a lot based on envy. And my dad was a very smart person, but he was, like you said, he had challenges. So I just want to be clear that
Wow.
all my parents, you may not see any many pictures of my dad because he wasn't as present in my life after
Right.
my parents divorced.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause
And
I'm
that was
looking
because,
hard, but I was like, okay, I need to get
yeah,
off this page.
and and that was because I didn't allow him to be. He tried. I
I remember you
really
saying that.
so I really take ownership of the fact that I didn't allow him to enter my life because I didn't want to get hurt again for and until later on in his life. But I do now understand the value in him, and I want to honor him wherever I get a chance.
I am so glad that you're doing that, Cathay, because I do, after hearing you share this part of your story again here on the show, I remember when you were on the show before how reluctant you were to even that having taking place.
Yes.
So wow, this is just,
Actually, you are the reason. You encouraged me to talk about it. I don't know if you remember, but you was like, you really should talk about, and I was like, no, I'd rather talk about things about the pandemic. And you was like, no, like it, because it was a part of what was happening. My dad passed during the pandemic, and he died with no flowers. And I think the fact that he died with no flowers,
wow,
really, really impacted me. Yeah, like not a spread, not a anything. And
that
so
is so
it
great.
really just like, it really opened my eyes into of he didn't deserve that, and that there are people in your life that will praise you and do all the things, but they will not give you your flowers. And they will, and so I want to give him his flowers.
Wow,
And
somebody type that in the comments
yeah,
section that we're giving. What's your dad's name?
Lavanda Dawkins.
Lavanda.
Mm-hmm.
How do you spell that?
Lavanda.
Yeah, I want y'all, if you will, please just put in the comment section. Here are your flowers, Lavanda. Here are your flowers, Lavanda. And anybody, I mean, I don't care, spread it everywhere around the country. Here are your flowers. And if you can have the flower emojis, put that in there as well. I had no idea we were going to talk about this, y'all. This isn't
Me
even what
either.
today's episode is about, but that goes to show you how important it is to let God just kind of lead you in direction on different things that you say. And so, Lavanda.
And some
Yeah.
things wake you up. Like, I'm a person that everybody know me for flowers, and I did
Oh,
everything I could to provide for that day. I did everything, and that was one thing that I relied on others to do. And it was just interesting, not interesting. It was just disheartening that that was the one thing that I couldn't control. It was also the day after. It was the day after Christmas, so it was a lot of excuses of why things didn't happen. But everything was shut down during that time. So yeah, he died. He passed with no flowers. And so, but again, it was the shaking that I needed uh to realize of how the tremendous impact that he's had on my life. And
that
so
is
I
amazing.
don't get as I still am sad and hurt for it, but it's been 3 years of processing that, and what does that mean, and then also looking at myself. And when you come into power and you come into opportunities, I want to make sure that people know my cloth and what I came from, and that
Yes.
as you get power, I will not uh I will make sure that the people around me get their flowers.
Mm, mm. Wow, y'all. Okay, you can't have a stronger opening to today's episode by hearing the backstory of Cathay Dawkins. We know him as this powerhouse in Charlotte, and how he's making such a tremendous impact with thousands upon thousands of people that are following his direction as a young man. But he just gave his flowers to his dad, Lavanda, and I am really grateful that you took time to do that here today on the show. And so, everybody, again, type in the comments section. Here are your flowers, Lavanda, Lavanda.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. Okay. Ooh, that right there, that did me in, Cathay.
I'm sorry.
I wasn't expecting that one, but I'm glad that you feel comfortable enough sharing it here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Thank you. Um, And I'm
Sometimes
also I'm
purpose
also
is
grateful
important.
that you allowed our conversation, because we don't talk that often, but for you to allow our conversation to trans help you do something different and something completely out of the box of what you were going to do, lets me know that this show does make a difference in people's lives. So thank you.
I need you to know that too. Like, we all have so much value, and people don't give you your flowers like they should. And I see a lot of that. Let me get myself together. Just black women, black people. We're just some gifted people. And it's time for us to see that and not worry about the flowers that we don't get. And
Right.
that those of us in power that can give flowers and can honor people, can sponsor, can donate, we need to shift our mindset. And this is all people in the things that you value.
That's
We
right.
are so caught up in a society that is not focused on real, authentic family, and when family looks like different things, I'm not and
Right.
so everything is politicized, but it's like when it comes down to it, we need to make sure that we are uplifting each other,
Mhm.
because there's enough people trying to not, trying to destroy. And I just, it was a reality check for me, but it also prepared me for today, prepared me for
Mm.
all the things in front of me and the opportunities in front of me and the people that I meet. As chairman of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Black Chamber, that was a game changer for me in my professional career, and it places me at tables that may not have even welcomed me before.
Mm. Mm.
And I walk it, but I know that I on the backs of my dad, my grandma, and many people,
Yes.
many preachers, and just many people built churches and just things that no matter what is said about my people and in general about hardworking people,
That's right.
you have to look at your cloth and look at the people around you
That's
to
right.
strengthen your community.
Praise God. You might be over there being a preacher. I don't know what's going on over there, Cathay. Who knows what
Um,
God has in store for you still in the future here. Is your dad, is he a senior by chance? Was he Lavonda Dawkins
Say
senior?
again.
Was he a senior?
Yeah, so he was actually he was actually the second.
Okay,
Uh
but is his
and
last name Dawkins too?
yes. And
And
he's senior, yeah. Oh,
is,
actually he's not, he's the second, but in
but is he dark skinned? Does he look like Michael Jordan or something?
yes, he's really dark with brown eyes. Yes, that's him.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
I
him.
found the picture. I was over here looking like crazy. I
Yeah.
just want to put his picture up because I really do want him to get his flowers right here today on the Kim Jacobs Show. And believe it or not, Mr. Dawkins, your legacy is living on strong right through your son, Cathay. And so we just want to give you your proper flowers right now, today on the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to transition our discussion because today we are talking too about this whole anti-DEI initiative and some things that's happening. And you feel that it's like this whole $2 trillion buying power is, in light of all of the different recent events and things that's happening, how do you think that we should, and I say we because I'm African American, but how do you feel we should reevaluate our spending as a result of all of the things that's happening across the
Yes,
globe?
I absolutely think that anywhere we spend all day long. We spend in our sleep sometime. And I think that when it comes to, not think, I know, when it comes to African Americans and economics, and as far as recycling our dollars, we hear it all the time that, in other communities, when money comes, it stays in a community for a certain amount of time. And I would encourage us, yes, those things are true, but there are ways that we do support Black businesses, and we do it consistently. It's just not always documented and appreciated and valued. So I want to say that first, but I also think that a lot of Black business on or Black consumers, um, and consumers in general that want to support black businesses don't have the opportunity to because they're not aware of what black businesses are in front of us.
Mhm.
And so they'll just assume, oh, we don't have this type of business, we don't have that type of business, so I'll just shop here. I think the more that you shop in your community, the more you shop local, the more you shop with black businesses, the better your community is going to be, because black businesses and small businesses are the ones paying the taxes, are the ones creating jobs. And so if from just a basic level, every time you shop at Cuzzo's or you shop at Jazzy Cheesecakes or other black owned businesses, we know them personally. We know that they're creating jobs. We know that they are giving back to the community. We know that they're creating meals for others. And so you know where your money is going.
That's right.
So it automatically is going to come back.
That's
It's
good.
going to come back within that community. It's going to birth within that community. And so what I tried to do over a decade ago is change the mindset around, for one, to say that we don't support each other, because we do. I
Yes,
think the narrative is just repeated so much that we think, oh, black people don't support each other, or yes, we do. And Black Food Truck Fridays is proof. We've
that's
ne- you know we've never had challenges with Black Food Truck Fridays. It's always been a beautiful experience, and I thank God for that. Right, that covering. We never had any type of challenges, and so it's just been growth after growth after growth, and more black businesses and black consumers are seeing the benefit um in the event where we take it to other cities now. So
that's good.
it's just opportunities. The more opportunities we place in front of consumers to invest in black businesses, they're going to do it. And so, and what has happened is these larger corporations, which start with larger capital, they're able to look at ideas and creative strategies that are created on this, on a lot of time, grassroots level,
Hmm.
and replicate them and emulate them throughout the country,
Okay.
and control and monopolize how we spend. And we just got to realize that you don't have to go spend at Target. You don't have to go spend at Walmart. You can find what you're looking for. You may just have to dig a little further, drive a little further, and you may have to spend a little bit more. But that intentionality is
Hmm.
what we need from everybody.
Okay. Okay. And so you, with the Black Food Truck Friday specifically, there are thousands. I mean, when you host these events, there are thousands upon thousands. Give me a number approximately of how
I
many.
was Yeah, I'm sorry.
No.
On average, about 1,700 to 2,000 come out a Friday.
And this is, I know this is one image of one in Charlotte, but like you say, you're doing it in other cities around the country as well. And the whole point of this, the concept is what? So, because you're the one of the you're the visionary behind this. So, talk to us about.
Yeah, so it's the so see it as like a pop-up marketplace, but more of a festival. So
Okay,
it's food drives consumers, and we love food. So we show a different types of we show the community there are different types of black-owned businesses that sell different type of food, from Caribbean to Jamaican to things that we don't even connect to blackness sometimes, like tacos and other things. So they're all different type of businesses, and we also allow other businesses to come in. So if you're not black, you still can be a part of Black Food Truck Friday, as long as you understand the values. If you value what we value, you are welcome.
that's
And the same thing with consumers. And we never have those challenges because we let people know it's open to all.
that's right.
Like, our business owners want to get support from all. But the main initiative, core initiative, is to show that black consumers are supporting black businesses and vice versa. And that is something people have um, been afraid to step out and do, or they don't always see the overall value in that. And so I was not afraid to put black in front of it. I want
Right.
people to
I don't
see black
understand.
food, right? But we did get a lot of pushback from that. I want people to see Black Food Truck Fridays, how we see um, Mexican festival, LGBTQ festival, or any other cultural festival. I love the support that we do for all festivals here in Charlotte, and we would love for Charlotte to embrace Black Food Truck Fridays like they've embraced other
Festival.
flagship signature events here in culture.
Well, I think that it's being embraced quite well in my.
It's being embraced from the consumers, but I mean on a corporate level, on the city level, it's time for them to see the value and how the event attracts. It's not just charlatans coming to Black Food Truck
No, not
Fridays.
at all.
It's people from across the way. CIAA really, really helped. We used to do an event during CIAA, and it would be, and I'll never forget going to DC, and there was a lady. I was in DC, and there was a lady. We was getting our car service while we were there, and it's a lady was like, "You look familiar." And basically, she ended up saying that she came specifically to Charlotte, and I took a picture of her. It's on my Facebook. But she came specifically to Charlotte a year prior to go to Black Food Truck Fridays because it was the only free thing she knew that was happening during CIAA. And
Wow.
so she drove all that way just to go and experience it because she had heard so much about it.
Yes.
And it just changed my mindset and was like, okay, it's time to travel, even if we have a small pocket of people that have heard about it, that might be enough to really, and everywhere we've gone and traveled to, actually we gave them more. In Greenville, South Carolina, we had 5,000 people come.
Right.
In Atlanta, we had 3,000 people come, and we've reached 5,000 here too. Now
Oh
we've
yeah. Yes.
had larger events, especially when we host them uptown. More people come out. But yeah, so Black Food Truck Friday is a driving force to show that Black consumers support Black businesses.
That's good. And again, when you say it's open to everyone, you will see all different nationalities. Anybody that's ever been to any of the Black Food Truck Fridays, you have seen people from all walks of life out
Right.
there supporting and participating. I actually met you because of a Hispanic young lady, Katrina, who connected me. She actually had a food truck with one of your
Yes.
communities, and you actually talked to her and helped even with how to build the infrastructure
Yes.
of the inside of the food truck. So you
Yes.
do way more than hosting just these events. You are like a mastermind behind a lot of the building components of some of these trucks too. So
I don't try to like get credit because I know a lot of this their heart, soul, and time. Yes, I do come in and I help. I mean, from now Katrina she's opened a restaurant,
yes, Azul
and so like
tacos and
so
beer.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah, and so like we are there when they need us, and now especially with the chamber we can advocate for them. We can help for we can advocate for policy changes, but through BBOC and Black Future Fridays we understand how we can drive consumers their way. We have over
right,
200,000 emails now. And so we're having over 200,000 emails. We just hit go
right,
and people will go. And we're seeing that more and more. But we also are open to critique, open to growth
right.
and being better at what we do.
And well, I think that you're doing a phenomenal job. I know coming up, there's another event, and that's happening March 28th from 4 to
Yes.
9. Tell us about that event.
Yeah, so we're celebrating Women's History Month,
Hmm.
and so we're going to honor Black women, local Black women. We'll define what that looks like in the next week or two, but we are going to honor local Black women, and it
I
will
see
be
Dr.
held
Wick.
at Movement Schools. South, say
Movement
it again.
School.
Yeah,
I said, I
Movement
see
Schools
Dr. Wick.
Southwest.
I see Dr. Wicker in the picture over there.
Yes, she gets on me about that, but she was like, "Oh, you got me in the front." I was like, "You got your you." Is it okay? She was like, "I love it. I love it. I love it." But she's amazing. And she of course she supports and many others leaders, and she's known like nationally.
I know.
Yeah,
Internationally,
yeah.
I just got honored this month with an award, Career Mastered
Hmm.
Women's Award from Dr. Wicker is the
Oh
master
wow.
behind
Oh,
that.
that's
So
amazing.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank
Mhm.
you. I haven't been posting all of my stuff over here, but I will tell y'all that that did happen. I was excited about that. Very honored.
I would say we need to definitely. I encourage you to talk to people about what you do, and we see it sometimes as boasting in this, but in the corporate world, if you don't say what you've done, you won't get credit for it. Is
That's
what I'm learning. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's true. Okay, so when I think about the DEI, is to me it's normal to have diversity. I was looking it up on one of these sites, and it was on CNN actually, and it says here that Diversity is embracing the differences between everyone and how everyone brings these different values to the table, whether those are of someone's race, age, ethnicity, religion, gender, sexual orientation, physical ability, or other aspects of social identity. Equity is treating everyone fairly and providing equal opportunities. And inclusion is respecting everyone's voice and creating a culture in which people from all backgrounds feel encouraged to express their ideas and perspectives. So I think I'm missing it. And maybe you can shed light as to who wouldn't want that to happen. I don't understand why that would not be something that everybody would embrace.
I think that for we tend to politicize words like DEI, and we are living in a society where you know people aren't furthering their education. Like, and when I say that, I mean that as a whole.
Right.
Um, we have to really messaging is important because most people, the average American is on a sixth grade reading level and comprehension level. So when we're speaking, a lot of us are speaking to those that we follow and that we think alike, that we are, we're educated on the same level. But
Mhm.
there are people that a majority of people that cannot, the messaging can confuse them easily. And so when you hear someone say, let's not support DEI because we want to support merit, it automatically makes it seem like DEI is anti-merit, which is
And
not true.
that's what's
DEI brings everyone to the table, and the only ones that don't get it is the ones that don't want to get it. People
that's right.
that people get it, and it's like on a hamster wheel, and we're just running on this hamster wheel when they know that we will never get the prize because they're gonna keep moving it. And so it's one of those things where everybody knows DEI is okay.
That's right.
It's when but once it becomes politicized, it's just gonna shift name. It used to be really the minority came before DEI. It
Right.
was like it's different if you go back and how the words were played.
That's
It started with affirmative action,
affirmative
and
action.
it grew from there. And if we all knew what affirmative action, like the act, that law really specifically was for African Americans.
That's right.
And
Yeah,
so,
I have that up
um,
too.
yeah, and so I would say this to those that are discouraged about DEI and what's happening. It may not never go back to what it was, but we got to also remember that it wasn't working. Like, I am not the one. If someone said I was a DEI hire, I wouldn't care. So let me make sure I would just look at them like you are too.
You are too.
Um,
It's fine.
right. So I'm not the one to say that, but when I am look at it, I'm a realist, and I'm like, okay, we're here.
Mhm.
What are the positives and what's the negative? And so we
That's
already
good.
know the negatives. So let's look at what we can pull from this. Let's focus on the good, right?
Right.
And so focusing on that, if we were only getting 3% of DEI, you know, 3 to 7% of DEI jobs,
Uh
if
huh.
we were only getting 1% of DEI contracts, if that's what they want to call those things, minority contracts,
Hmm.
if we are not getting a capital, it wasn't working for us. And so we need to create a system that works for us, and that system is going to be from us, by us.
That's
And clearly, because those that are in power to make those significant changes, rather swing us back 60 years than spring us forward.
wow. That's good. You know what? I was pulling up this article that I read today, and my son had the opportunity to meet this young man, Robert F. Smith, who is we know the second
Yes,
well
Robert Smith.
black man. Robert, yeah. So we went to New York. My son Jeremiah, his make a wish was to actually meet Robert F. Smith. So we spent some time with him, and he did a phenomenal job of teaching Jeremiah how to fish, not just giving him a fish,
Right.
but teaching him how to fish. But one of the things he said in this article is that Robert F. Smith, the second richest black man in America, explains what he believes the real issue is regarding DEI. He states that 340.1 million people reside in the United States and argues against excluding certain groups. This also applies to the 63% of white women who held DEI leadership roles as well. So he said the question was, you're going to you're not going to include them? No, you are going to include them. People are just maybe offended by the way that certain programs are administered. But he said basically it's not what you said, it's not meritocracy in race, but meritocracy in the opportunity set. So at the end of the day, if you're hiring the best people for the job, for the opportunities, you're going to be hiring the best people, black, white, women, it doesn't matter, because it's going to all be based on their merit and what they've accomplished in life. And many people are African Americans that are well accomplished, as Robert F. Smith is himself. Are you frozen? I think you're frozen over there, Cathay. Okay, let me I'm gonna remove Cathay for a second. So he's frozen back there. Let me move him up the thing. I thought he was just like, being a mannequin. Like, I was like, okay, he's being a mannequin over there. Listen, everybody, we're talking today with Cathay Dawkins, and he is the owner of Black Business Owners of Charlotte in Charlotte, North Carolina. And he also started Black Food Truck Fridays, which has become a really popular festive event in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. And so as we're talking today, you all can put your comments up. And when he pops back into the studio, we'll get some of those comments and questions addressed as well. And even I see some of your comments about giving his dad the flowers. So we'll make sure we put those up as well. What we're going to do is just take a brief commercial break. And when we come back, hopefully Cathay will be right back in the building and we'll continue on with our conversation. Let me see. We will be right back right after this break. Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community. All right, everyone, and we are back. And as we are talking with Cathay Dawkins today, we're going to continue our conversation. But I do want to let you know that on March 20th, is it March 20th? Let me make sure before I say that date and then it'd be off here. Let's see. Yeah, March 20th. We have Dr. Marcia Alston, who will be our guest speaker for our eWomen Network Luncheon. I'm the new managing director in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we welcome you to register for our networking luncheons. So if you have not attended one, we hold our events right now at the Brownstone Signature Events venue, and this is where we we also have our church services here. So if you've not been a part of Promise Fellowship Church Service, this is where we have our church services every Sunday as well. So I'm a new pastor also. So a lot of different hats that God has entrusted me with, but make sure that you go ahead and register at ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. You'll see our events that are coming up, and Dr. Marcia Alston is speaking about They Said. Her book is They Said, I Said, God Said. I knew it was going to be right there in the middle of the screen. They said, I said, God said. So she's going to be our guest speaker March 20th at ewomen.network.com/Charlotte. So go ahead and get your ticket. And then we have also coming up our summit that's going to be happening May 7th. That's happening with Sandra Yancey, who is the founder of eWomen Network. She's going to be talking to us about how to unlock our profit power. So you will learn from this woman entrepreneur who we have over 118 chapters around the country teaching us how to unlock our profit power. May 7th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Brownstone Signature Events venue right in Harrisburg. It's right on Highway 49 for those of you that may be trying to figure out where it is. It's right beside Captain Steve's restaurant and about 5 minutes from UNC Charlotte. Listen, do you all have questions yourselves regarding DEI and diversity, equity, inclusion, and how to make sure that we are making sure that we are considering one another as we're going through this business entrepreneurial journey, or how we are including different sectors of people? Let me go. I did pull this other article up too and try to determine when did this whole thing really resurface, because it was during the time that George Floyd was murdered that the renewed push for the DEI leadership roles and initiatives at major corporations. That happened between the years of 2019 and 2022. And that's when a lot of the chief diversity and inclusion officer roles grew by like 168.9%, according to the CNN article that I'm reading. So it became very prominent during that time again, even though we know back in the day in the civil rights movement is when things originally kicked off. So back in the studio is Cathay Dawkins joining us again. And even though he froze and it was a cute freeze, so it was like, I thought he was frozen because of the fact of what I was saying. But anyway, we're going to bring him back in right now. Okay, Cathay, how are you?
I'm well. Thank y'all. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's funny. When you froze, I thought you were froze based on what I was saying. I thought you were like in shell shock, like, but anyway.
That's hilarious.
So with the let's go to some of these comments because I don't want to disregard people's comments. People have been chiming in. And I see you, Dr. Tina J. Ramsey. She is the founder of CTR Media Network. And we stream in 100 countries and 350 million households, thanks to
Wow.
Dr. Tina J. Ramsey. So
Thank you, Dr. Ramsey.
she would love for you to bring Black Fruit Truck Fridays to her part of South Carolina.
I am open to it. So you can reach out to me or BBOC if you're interested in partnering, sponsoring, or being a vendor or bringing or being ambassador. We have ambassadors in other cities that help us coordinate the events. And we, of course, ensure that my ambassadors are well involved and taken care of and benefit from that as well. You can reach us at info@bboclt.com. Again, that's info@bboclt.com or BBOC vendors, bbocvendors@gmail.com.
Or BBOC vendors
Mm-hmm.
at Gmail. I'm
Yes.
typing what you're saying. So, okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to put all of this contact information up. That way you all will have it because a lot of people have been texting in and asking. And so the answer is info@bbolct.com, or you can go to BBOC, right?
And it's a BBOC vendors, yes.
BBOC. Let me correct that. bbocvendors@gmail.com, because I know we also are on iHeartRadio, so people are listening and not seeing this. Email info@bboclt.com or email bbocvendors@gmail.com. And now with this, what do you feel are the lessons that you've learned from putting these types of events together, especially being the mastermind behind it, most of this?
Yeah, so I've learned to just be more patient, be more open and lenient to changes because when I first started, I structured it different than it is now. When I first started, just this is like more of a team thing, but like when we first started, we would have it where vendors we'll have assigned seats. So we'll be like, you need to be over here, you need to be over there. But we saw that it created so much tension with people wanting to be in certain places. So we learned that, hey, first come, first serve. We know where we want to place people, where
That's
we
good.
want people to go. But as far as when you get there, if a spot is open, and we'll put you there if that's where you want to be. But it comes like whoever gets to us first get to select. And so not only did that help with keeping it stress free, because that's my it's a stress free zone. That's what I live
Here,
by.
put that up. Let me
Yeah,
put
to
it over
keep
here so
things,
people can see
yes, to
it.
keep it stress free. We decided to change and make that change, and it's been so refreshing because now it increased people coming earlier because they want to get in
That's
certain
good.
areas, but it also made it for those that maybe lag in a little later, we still can put them without disturbing what's happening.
That's good.
And so you live and you learn. And again, that was more of a team thing. And also we another challenge we had is, especially being a Black organization, we were always held to a standard that was different than a lot of people. They were like, "Oh, they doing that over there. Why not you not doing it this way? Or why are you not doing it that way?" And
That's
so what we did was we traveled and we saw how other festivals were being ran. And this is after we started Black Future Friday. One of the things that I didn't ever want to do was copy anyone, so I stayed away from even looking at what other people are doing. But that actually was hurting us. So once I got came to terms with the fact that you got to learn from others, we reached out to those different festivals and say, hey, can we come and explore your festivals? People come and do this to us all the time,
oh good.
and of course they open. They was like, of course, and we can work together, and so we just learned ways to improve our festival, and some of those things are being implemented now.
That's good. So you were very open minded to new ways outside of what you and your team may have been accustomed to, going out and saying, how can we collaborate? How can we partner? How can we learn? And you all can come do the same thing from our events. And that's
Exactly.
worked nicely for you all.
Yes, I'm learning that. I mean, partnerships has always been key in my book, but it's placing that same strategy in everything. And
Mhm.
I encourage everyone to do this. If you can look around and see that there's a business that may be doing it better than you or doing it more efficiently than you, and you can be just as beneficial to them as they are to you.
That's
It's
good.
just communicating, or looking out there and seeing what's available, what's in front of you, instead of just what's in front of you, right? And
That's good.
so partnerships is what we primarily focus on. And for instance, our next goal for the BBOC and the Black Chamber is to build an innovation hub here in Charlotte. And one of the what I would say the most thriving Black Innovation Hub is in Atlanta. It's the Russell's Black Innovation Hub, ran by CEO Jay Bailey.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to Jay and I was like, hey, we're trying to do this here. I see that you support what we do. We like cross promote each other's stuff. Would you be interested in us coming and doing a tour, so that we can learn? The cities do this. Other chambers do this. The cities do this. They go to other cities to make the city more efficient in different
Mhm.
areas. So of course, they were like, absolutely.
That's
Like,
good.
let's work together. Let's come into, because at the end of the day, in order to create a system that works for Black business and Black consumers, we need to be
Mhm.
connected throughout and creating hubs throughout. And so in rural areas and in urban areas, in big cities and in small cities. So that
That's
has
good.
been my focus, is how do we not only be the first, it's great to be the first to do something, but also how can we sustain a lot of these things, and how can we help other people be the first in their areas and sustain what they're doing?
That's good. So anybody that's interested in even doing a Black food truck Friday situation, wherever you are around the country, you can reach out to Cathay directly and he can let you know what the process would be for him to be able to help, whether he's tutoring you, collaborating, partnering with you, whatever it is that would be allowed based on what he's looking to do in that partnership.
Absolutely.
That's really good. And so, if you had, because you really are big on solutions, and you said solutions are key, especially at
Yes.
the critical state, what would you say, even if it's two, three, four, however many you choose to share, some solutions that really Black business entrepreneurs should be focusing on at this phase?
Yes. So marketing,
Y'all type
we
this marketing.
yes, we tend to not see the value in marketing. I'm a marketing strategist, political strategist. I work with Bloomberg for president, Biden for president. A lot of people don't notice, but when Biden was in the basement, I was assisting his marketing team as a consultant. I had just worked with Bloomberg as a consultant, and I saw the negative press, and I wrote a letter basically to the head person in marketing. I was like, we should do town halls where people are in their cars,
That's good.
and unfortunately my contract ran out right before we did our first event in Atlanta, but I still was able to go.
Mhm.
But I was on the team where you know it was the idea that I could manifest to the team, and it worked. It literally changed everything when
That's good.
voters were able to come and, because it was a pandemic at the time, they were able to not they were able to stay in their car or sit on their car and still enjoy a town hall. And that small change, that small solution was
That's good.
transformative um, for the campaign.
I love that because you're not put in a box, Cathay. What I think I like the most about you is that if God can put it in your mind, you can make it become a reality in some capacity. You actually remind me sometimes of my dad. He was a bishop in Palatka, Florida, and he was known as the People's Bishop. But when I went to
Mhm.
visit him, I was like, he doesn't have that many people in his church. I don't have a clue what
You're
he's the
right.
bishop of, is what I was thinking. But I would see him at Bishop T.D. Jakes conferences, right on the front row. I was like, that's my daddy. My daddy's
Mhm.
sitting on the front row at the Bishop T.D. Jakes conference. I ain't even on the front
Right.
row. And what it reminds me of is that how you can be innovative, because what he would do is put his speakers to his church outside, and so the speakers would go up and down the street. And if you go
Mhm.
outside, people would be sitting for miles out on these buckets or on their porches.
Wow.
And I was wondering, what are all of these people out here doing? And I realized when I came out of the church that they were listening to the message that my dad, the people's bishop, had provided for them on that Sunday. So
Beyond the
that
wall.
reminds me of you.
Thank you. And your dad sound amazing. That's how I see, like I was saying, beyond the walls. Like I grew up basically. If you were to look at my life story, you would probably thought I was going to be a pastor, because everybody before me were pastors and preachers in the military, and just very refined, and men that pastor was like that high point that you would do. And I just knew that wasn't for me, but I do see how that training and being around so many leaders, male and female, women and men, leaders, black leaders in the black community, how that really molded me to now. But I don't want to get off the I might have like steered from the question a little bit.
No, this is good. The question was, what are some of the solutions in your opinion that business entrepreneurs really should be focusing on and during these particular times?
So marketing, and I did get off a little bit. So marketing, I would encourage us to value marketing more. As a marketing strategist, I see that people will tend to post something. Let's say let's go to social media marketing. They'll post something once or twice and not get the traction they want, and they'll just give up on that everything they worked on, not realizing that just like 117 people a day moving to Charlotte,
Mhm.
there are millions of people online that may not was online yesterday, right?
Okay.
and and so some people log on once, some people log on every day, some people on there all day. And so yes, you have your friends, but you can, beyond your friends, the algorithms can take you way, way beyond your friends. And so consistent marketing, having it where you are, no matter what traction you're getting, that you have a timeline and say, on Monday I'm gonna post 3 times, on Wednesday I'm gonna post 2 times, on what, and then also looking at peak times, like when is the best time to advertise. And now that doesn't always go in your favor. Test things, post on the off peak time and see how that go, because
Okay.
it could be less people there that might get the visuals. And one thing that my former marketing director, that unfortunately passed away, her name was Carlina. She was an artist. She was my marketing director for an organization I had called Beyond the Arts. And Carlina taught me, and this is stuff I tell people in my workshops, that with marketing, you should try to find a rhythm. And for me, that rhythm is three. And so I try to post everything three times. It may look different each time, but there's a trend line. So I would encourage you, whenever you share something, it could be an event, this podcast, whatever, share it three consecutive times. Have one thing that stays the same, so it could be the same picture, it could be the same hashtag, the same wording,
That's good.
and limit to three hashtags too. This is not forever, but right now that works. I promise you it works.
Y'all,
And
okay.
I'm saying this
Right,
as
type this. Y'all better learn this.
yeah, so as marketing, I just want to, like, I've been testing the waters, hosting events. I've never paid for advertising, right? And we've been getting thousands. And so I've learned how to beat algorithms for free. And so if you go to my personal page, in the last 28 days, I've had over 6, 7 million views from people from different posts. And then this year alone, it's probably been like 30 million. And this is not just Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. My main viral moments are on Instagram, but I've also learned how to break the algorithms on LinkedIn. And I see how now CEOs that were following me are now like, oh my God, they actually don't want me to say anything negative about them because it
They're
could
like,
drive down
they're
business for
following
them.
you.
So yeah, so like I see the impact when I go into the meetings. They're like, "Oh, we better watch what we say around you." You yes, we all should watch what we say, and you should
Around
all
everyone,
stick
not
to,
just
you should all, if you want the consumers that I represent to support you, you need to support those consumers. It's that simple.
well, that's good. You know what? This is a shameless plug moment right here on the Kim Jacobs Show, because of what I need is some people to support the Kim Jacobs Show too.
Absolutely.
So, by all means, if you would be kind enough to say,
Oh, you already know I'm gonna share. I like sharing and give you tips and pointers on to keep that consistent base going. But you're doing a phenomenal job. Like phenomenal job. And you're teaching other people how, you're teaching them, me, how to be a better podcaster and better showmanship, so that we are presenting our A game. And so you're doing the work, and you're going to continue to get the shine, and I'm going to make sure that I do my due diligence, and show my support
well,
for
thank
you.
you, Cathay. But listen, everybody, if you all would partner with us, please make sure that you do so, because that's the only way we can keep the program thriving. And we come on Monday through Friday here on the Kim Jacobs Show. We bring balance into your home by bringing all of these phenomenal guests. And the only way to continue the programming at that level is through community contributions, through community members like yourself. So you can do it through PayPal if you're listening, because I know it's a lot of audio listeners, to paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. Or you can do it through Venmo at The Kim Jacobs Show, or Zelle at 704-962-7161. Those are some of the ways. And then there is a group training that I offer where we take a 6-week journey teaching you how to start your own talk show, podcast. Audio is audio, video, and it's also network ready, because I'll help you partner with CTR Media Network to get it over, hopefully on the Roku for you as well. And so you can definitely reach out to me, 704-962-7161, or email kim@thebalancedoctor.tv for more information. All right, we only take 5 students per session. So if you want to be one of them, you have to kind of, like they said, be first in line, first
You
come, first
do.
serve.
And I love that you made it more like intimate, so you could really teach
Oh,
those 5 people how to run the show
it
well.
makes a really big difference, because people are in the comfort of their own home. So you don't have to be in class anywhere. And we go on that journey for 6 weeks together, and you get the technical training as well. So, how do you feel that things are going to unfold with this whole anti DEI movement? What do you feel do you feel like it's going to be some collaboration? People are going to show a little bit more flexibility, or it's going to be a hardcore, we have to go all in type of thing? What do you
I
feel?
think that I think we should all remember that there were 70 million people that did not vote for any anti-DEI initiatives. And there were just as many people that didn't, and a lot of those people that did vote uh, against it didn't know they were voting against it. And there were a lot of people that didn't vote. So that's starting out because we can say politics don't matter, but we're seeing that it does, right? We're seeing that it does have impact locally and it has impact across the board. I think we should remember that there is a large pool of people that understand what diversity is. They benefit by diversity and they want to see it. And when it comes to the blackout, it wasn't just black people. It was people across the board, every race, um, every ethnicity that were participating in the blackout. And there are now more than ever, we also need today's abolitionists, those that are really when I say abolitionists, I'm not saying anything like anti-government, but I'm saying more like people that are really focused on being an ally, a true ally, meaning stepping out, saying, I too am not going to support a target, but I'm not just going to be, I'm going to say this to people. I'm going to let people know because I think right now what's going to happen is a lot of these policy changes are going to directly impact those that it didn't intend to impact.
That's
And
right.
I think the more that, if you are making less than 200,000, if you are a woman, if you are a person of color, um, I think that, of course, a black person. I think that you're they're seeing it fast. They're seeing it already how it's directly impacting their bottom line, their lives,
Mhm.
and so it's not going to hold. It's not holding in court. And I think also a lot of things that we talk about politically don't have any type of lawful impact. And
That's
so
right.
there are organizations that made strategic moves that they blamed the law for that the law did not support. And so those organizations now are reaping uh, from what they sowed, and so and not in a good way. So they're seeing that, hey, I made a rash, quick decision now that it's hurting our bottom line, and
Right.
with those type of large scale businesses they cannot continuously have hurt bottom lines and stay on the level that they are.
I'm really glad that you took that approach because everything that you're saying, and I love how you are handling this interview and this conversation because you're not on here attacking anyone. You're just sharing some basic facts that we all need to be on one accord and be able to understand that we all have some value that we bring to corporations with our $2 trillion buying power. So
Yes.
it does make a difference, and I appreciate you doing that. Listen, if you all have any questions for Cathay, go ahead and type them now. I'll come over to the comments section. I see y'all also over on Instagram as well, and I'll come and see if you have any questions and pop those up on the screen. And so, really, for Black business owners in America, from your perspective, what do you envision based on what you see happening over the next maybe 10 years type of thing? What can you see as the long term effects of what's going down?
Yes, and it's so with so many shifts happen so fast. A lot of the 10-year
You said shifts,
uh
right?
yeah, shifts. I'm sorry, shifts. Mhm.
I just want to make sure I want to make sure I got the right wording.
I mean, same thing. Um yeah, same thing. So a lot of that's happening right now. This A lot of that that's happening in 10 years from now, because it's happening so fast and things change now every 4 to 5 years.
Right,
A lot of the reports that come out and say, hey, in order to get this happen in 10 years, a lot of those reports, for instance, the Chetty report, great report, um, that report basically advised us last year what I knew 10 years ago. And that's
right,
why it was like, hey, you need to put around community, you need to invest in community, you need to invest in childcare and you need to invest in family. We already know those things. And
right.
again, the report is needed because a lot of funding is based on those reports. But as black as minority and black business owners, we tend to hurt first. So we feel it way before everybody else feel it, and we hurt the longest.
That's right.
So we need to always remember that. And when we think that policy changes don't impact us, when we think that our vote don't impact us, when we think that the actions of these changes with DEI isn't
Right.
going to impact us, because it is. It is all intertwined,
Yes.
and the federal government runs pretty much everything. A lot of companies base their budgets off of money they get from the federal government.
Right.
So in knowing that, the more, when you as a business owner and creating a strategy, a business plan, you
Right.
have to think about, am I going to rely on federal funding? And if I'm not going to do that, see it as extra, or see it as, it depends
Right.
on the program. See it's something that's everlasting. Is it a sustained federal funding? And once you say, okay, that is something I can't rely on, you have to come up with other strategies. Those strategies, building your base, building your niche. I always encourage business owners, um, even if you have a niche, invest in your niche. For Black Future Fridays, our niche is business owners and Black consumers. So we created BBOC Marketplace, which actually birthed everything, I should say. It's just
Yeah.
we invested more in BBOC Marketplace. BBOC Marketplace is an online platform on Facebook. We are creating an app. We are turning it into an app, but it has over 27,000 locals, and it drives
Yeah.
support virtually online to Black businesses. And so that is the niche that we created, that we nurture around Black Future Friday. So now we know when the pandemic hit, Black BBOC Marketplace really thrived, because people needed to shop, and they couldn't, go out into the community and shop, so they did it virtually. So
That's
it
right.
really, really showed how impactful that could be. So if you sell shoes, I would encourage you to, or socks or something like that. I would encourage you to
That's
join soccer leagues, and join the Panthers. I mean, participate in things related to the Panthers. Like, find a niche that's going to drive support and revenue to your business.
that's
Cre-
good.
Create contracts with these. Think out of the box. A lot of times I'll hear someone say, "Oh, I can't do that because of this," and I'm like, "Why can't you do it? Why won't you do it? It's going to take work." But always think out of the box. Basically, how many contracts can I get if I have a sock business? How many, and it's thousands, and so how many sponsors can I get? Millions. It's millions of companies, you know what I'm saying? And we just don't, when I say, well, thousands, I should say, but we don't a lot
Right.
of times think out of the box. And so I would encourage you to think out of the box.
Hmm.
Yes, rely on those systems and those things that you've been relying on. If a consumer come there and buy food, that like if you're a restaurant, that's going to work. But also, you could be doing other things to streamline your what you're selling. It's hard decisions you may have to make, but I would not change course. I would not feel doomed. We survive many things, and this too shall pass. And the people that get it will support, because all of us feel helpless, but that helplessness is hundreds of millions of people. So we're not helpless. We just need to think out of the box, not allow stress to guide us. So grounding yourself, finding plants, all those things help you stay grounded, so that you can make rational decisions that's best for your business.
I love it. I could probably hear you talk all day. This is
Oh, thank you.
incredible. And so, one of the things that you were just saying really answered one of the questions that I had, which is, what are some of the common mistakes that business entrepreneurs make? And so, what you just said, I think, spoke volumes to that. Making sure we streamline what we're selling, and making sure that we don't limit these contracts, because there are so many opportunities out there. Was there anything else that you think are some common
Also,
mistakes?
I know that asking for help seems taboo,
Mm,
but maybe ask for help in different circles. But
that's good.
definitely, people can't help what they don't know, especially when they see thriving. A lot of people see thriving when a lot of us are starving. And I know that I've been that, like many don't know, the first 10 years of doing what I've been doing, I did not get a salary. So it was me relying on my other businesses, like my landscaping business and other businesses, to make sure I eat. That's why I taught for so many years. I had to make sure that I ate. But no matter what I did, even when I didn't have a regular job, I still made sure everybody around me was eating well.
That's good.
And that's like actual physically eating well and their bottom lines. And so because I understand the bigger picture, I understand the sacrifice, I think more of us, I'm not asking you to do 10 years of sacrifice, but I'm saying more of us need to make sacrificial commitments, right, to supporting those that we value. And
Okay.
as a business owner, streamlining, um, connecting with your community, um, really supporting and giving back to your community, seeing where you can create more jobs, more opportunities. Those are ways that um, the community is going to pour money and time and investment back into you. And again, don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you are afraid to ask for help, that's what the chamber is here for. We can have um, conversations that are that are private and that you are feel supported. And so I encourage you to become a member of the chamber if you can. And if you can't, another thing, like, if you when I say you can't, meaning if you feel like you can't afford the fees, for one, I slash the fees so that they would not be expensive so more people can join.
That's
And those fees help us do workshops and different free opportunities for business owners. But anytime you can't do something, I'm the one to always say, "Come to me." I don't tell everything. I would never talk to others about things that could harm your business.
mhm.
And you've never, and you never will see me bad talk another business owner.
Never.
Um, and so, as far as a small business, I know I'm bad talking to big corps right now, but even with that, it's a respect and I understand, and it's up to them to
Yeah, I
make the
don't even
right
think you're bad
decisions.
talking them at all. I haven't
Yeah.
I haven't heard you do any level of bad talking. I just hear you saying that let's be mindful if people aren't respecting our dollars, then why are we spending our dollars there is what I think I'm hearing you say.
Right, and just listen to your consumers. Listen to those people. When you go in Target, when you go in Walmart, when you go in any of these places, if you look around, it's not just one race or one ethnicity supporting these places. It's a lot of people that look like us that are driving. So we have a lot of power, and we need to now take that power, invest that power in our businesses, invest that power into our homes and our community, and really, really make that a priority. Because if we don't do that now, we never will. Because now is one of the most crucial times in our life that it is time for us to unify and come together. And if we can't do that now, they're going to see that. They're strategists too, right? They're strategists working against what we're doing. They're seeing our weak points, they're seeing our strong points.
Hmm.
And we got to see when they are uh, intentionally caressing our weak points to make us not think rationally.
Wow. Okay. Well, a lot of comments have come in. I do want to acknowledge them. I see you, Mother Patricia Lofton, and she's with the North Carolina Second Jurisdiction of the Church of God in Christ. And she said, "Here are your flowers, Lavonda."
Thank
And
you.
Felice Hightower, Britt said, "Here are your flowers, Lavonda." As well. These are flowers being given. Flowers, flowers. Lots of flower comments came in.
Always.
And so the flowers, even though they may not have been given on the day of your dad's homegoing service, they are given today. And we want to acknowledge that. Kim Maddox says, "Hey, let me put my glasses on here. Black Food Truck Fridays was a staple in bonding my line sisters." She's a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And she said, and when we first became Zetas.
I would love to get screenshots of these. This is awesome.
Yes. Okay. So yes, Kim, screenshot a couple of these if you can, or I'll screenshot them something.
I'm gonna see if I can do it. Just let me see. Oh,
Okay,
oh
go
yeah,
ahead.
there it goes.
You got a screenshot of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though my hand is in it,
Oh, that's funny.
but I love. Thank you so much. Like
That's
those things
huge.
like that, I need. I don't get to hear them all the time, and I know Black Future Fridays is a community driven and community beloved event. It's just good seeing and hearing it.
Yes, and y'all are watching. I see some of you that are on that may not be typing comments. Take a moment and say what your experience has been like for black food, black food truck Fridays. That's like a tongue twister. Black food truck Fridays. Make sure you put your comments and what the experience has been for you for Black Food Truck Fridays. It is it's a difference maker for a lot of families. People are coming together, having just family outings, an opportunity to come and learn more about their culture and history, as well as having some great food and fun, and you're dancing and you're just having a good time. It's really a fun time.
Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I can like you one day. It don't have to be now. It could be a year, 2 years. I would love for you to come out to Black Future Fridays and do your show,
Oh,
like during the event. Like we have the space, and it could be inside or outside. But yeah, I would love that.
well, I will be there to do it.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm
we can
glad.
talk about when you want. Like I would absolutely. That would be amazing if you could do that.
I will be honored to do that. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Okay, Felice said, "Hey, you good, Cathay, and thank you for thinking of Black women."
Always.
Especially with it being Women History Month, we just want to also thank God that you're honoring women as well here. Let's see, lots of other comments. I see all of the tips. Oh, Vicky L. Evans, she just had a big performance.
Hey, Vicky.
Yeah, she's on. She said, "Yay, BBOC."
Vicky's. Oh, she was on the board for BBLC for a very long time. Vicky's
I
amazing.
love Vicky L. Evans. I went to her performance of The Gift, and she's actually Freestyle Friday expert here on the Kim Jacobs
Oh
Show.
wow.
So she comes on some Fridays and shares her tips about she's called our woman of many hats
Oh
expert.
yes. Oh my
So,
gosh. She wears so many hats. Like she's amazing.
literally,
Amazing.
she is. She is.
And we
Okay.
took a nice picture together then with Vicky. We were just talking about that this week about a picture. So she'll
She
know what
said,
I'm talking about.
where do we find info on the Black Chamber of Commerce? Where can we get?
Yes. So if you go to www.cmbcc.org, again, that's
Wait a minute, I'm gonna
CMB.
type it. www.
Yes.
What?
CMBCC.org.
Okay. And this is the to become a member.
Yes. And we have different levels. Initially, the membership was over $500. Now, the membership for professionals and nonprofits is $150, up to $250 for small businesses, which is like half of what it used to be. Um, and that's for annual membership for the entire year. And it comes with our monthly we have member meetings every third Thursday, and we are actually partnering with quite a few organizations to provide business development during our meetings. So it's not just regular members meetings. You know, you are going to network, you're going to meet other members of the chamber, and actually Mighty Networks is one of the, if you go to our website, it's on the Mighty Network. So it's like an app, and you get to communicate with other chamber members online, but also during our meetings, we have Bank of America, U.S. Bank, um, we have Aspire and other organizations, Mechanics and Farm, to come out and talk about what the services they provide specifically for Black Chamber members and for in general for small businesses. So, and then there's a plethora of other benefits. So you whatever you invest in, you'll get it back
That's good.
pretty fast.
So you put it over in the comments section for you to go ahead and make sure that you become a member of the Black Chamber of Commerce in Mecklenburg County, right? Is that where you are, right?
Yes, but we actually now have scaled membership beyond Mecklenburg because of so many people wanting to be members. Like for instance, Habitat in Monroe is now a member,
Okay.
a partner, official partner of the chamber. So we've already spread out. We have quite a few members in Union County and Salisbury, even in Greensboro. We don't want to take away from the other Black chambers. Like if there
Right.
are Black chambers in those areas, we do encourage them to join them. But there are a lot of people that want to join, so we open the door beyond. And
Right.
also think of Charlotte as a beacon. Charlotte is the number two financial capital in the world. So there are
Yes.
people that they may not have a business here, but they want to do business here, or they want to support the businesses that's here and be attached to them. So that's why we've opened that door for people beyond Charlotte to be a member.
I'm really glad you said that. And like that's what's been happening for this event that I'm hosting. It's a summit that's coming up. And if you go to ewomenetwork.com/Charlotte, we have a summit that's happening on May 7th. And I actually, for March 20th, we always bring each month a different speaker that comes in for our events. And I'm the managing director here in Charlotte. And so we have our speaker for March 20th is They Said, I Said, God Said, and it's Dr. Marcia Alston, and she's going to be talking. Her leg was amputated, but this
Wow.
woman is a powerhouse. She makes no excuses about whatever they said and I said, but what did God say? And so she's going to be our speaker on March 20th. And then we have our summit that's happening on May 7th, and the founder of eWomen Network is coming to talk to us about how to unlock our profit power. And people are already booking their tickets from Florida and Georgia and different places, but the event is going to be held right here in Charlotte, North Carolina at the Brownstone Signature Event Venue Center.
Oh
So make
wow.
sure that you go ahead and book your ticket. And speaking of which, I do need to let you all know that I'm a new pastor, and this is where we have our service. So
Oh
this is
wow.
this is technically
Congratulations.
Thank you. This is technically the sanctuary where we meet every Sunday and we stand on the promises of God at the Brownstone Signature Events venue. So make sure y'all come out and fellowship with us. And we do stand on the word of God and stand on his promises with Promise Fellowship.
Well, I know it's anointed because your hands are on it. So
To
God's hands
God
are
be
on
the glory.
it.
Any additional thoughts, comments that you wanted to share? I do want to put these pictures up because I've seen so many awards, recognitions. Tell us about any of this that you like to share.
Yeah, so that this particular picture was Urban League. This is actually when the storm came when it flooded in Asheville. Unfortunately, I had just came from Asheville meeting a whole bunch of business owners, and was gonna be there during that flood, and I ended up going to this and leaving Asheville and coming here. And that's the president. So to your far left is the president of all the urban leagues. And then Robin is in the middle. She's the local CEO of the urban league.
Yeah.
And so of course, I got to meet the national CEO. That was amazing. Robin and I are really close. Robin has been my mentor for a while,
And she
and
was on the Kim
so
Jacobs show too.
oh yeah, she's amazing, and it's just amazing of the leadership we have here, and how the leaders here have embraced me, especially as I became, Black Chamber chairman. They've come in and basically showed me the ropes, and yeah.
Wow.
So
And then I
yeah,
see that you've received so many awards. And I know these may be some blurred pictures, but I was online trying to find scans and all kinds
no, that in that picture, it's in a newspaper, so it's kind of blurry
of.
already.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, this was,
Make me feel better.
it's a whole story behind this picture that was just an epic story. But I don't know if I'm gonna share it publicly, right? But I'll share it. So basically, I wasn't. I was this close of not being on the cover of this, and I was supposed to be on the cover, but they changed locations, and I didn't get the memo. It was 24 hours before, and Charlotte Business Journal held it. They handled it so well, because I got there right after the group photo was taken. And when I walked in, I was like, what's happening? It was me, all three of us. And they were like, actually, we have a different photo set for you. So I was like, okay. And I ended up getting the cover like this with those two amazing women. And so what ended up being a mishap turned into
A
a
blessing.
blessing. Which I
Wow.
was already a Power 100, but it was a group photo, and then it was the photo. So I ended up being in the Power 100 and also getting my own separate cover photo.
So
Well, with the
everything that's what I try to make sure people understand, Cathay, is that not everything is to harm us or to work against us. Some things are happening for our good and for the betterment of us and the outcome of what God is trying to accomplish in our lives. And
even if it was intentional or not, I don't know, because I didn't even dwell. I wouldn't allow myself to dwell on it.
right, right.
Like, and so at the end of the day, I was like, I was promised to be on the cover, so what are we doing? I didn't have to say anything. They had already resolved what could happen. And I also looked at, of course, like, is it my error? Like, what did I do wrong?
Right.
But it ended up being a absolute blessing because
Praise God.
I didn't even know. Like I didn't know that's what they were gonna do. They were just like, oh well, you're not gonna be in the group photo, and we're just gonna take an individual photo and use it in the magazine somewhere. And I was like, okay. And I left with that and had no idea. That's like, and then a week later, I was like, we have a surprise for you.
Oh,
And
and
so
it
that's how.
ended up working out. Ended up working out. You were also one of the great 28 representatives representing Charlotte in a powerful way and changing the history of Charlotte. So, how did you feel about that?
That was amazing, and that was the inaugural Great 28 by QC Metro. And with awards, like I'm just now embracing what they really mean because
Right.
I've had my head down so long. I wasn't getting a salary, so awards is great, but it's like that is great. But now I see when I go into rooms now, I
Hmm.
see how those awards shifted people's mindset of who I was. They value me more because of the awards. But I understand people like you and all that. Before the awards came, y'all, there were people that already saw the worth, and I see how awards do help move the needle. So
Yes.
I was appreciative then. I'm even more appreciative now. Um, and I'm grateful that those like QC Metro was one of the first organization that saw my worth. And I'm grateful that organization like Charlotte Business Journal saw my worth to place me there on Power 100 twice, which is like I don't think anybody else can that has happened before here. Yeah.
Okay. And what about this one?
Yes, there's a magazine called Invest Charlotte, and we just went to Invest Charlotte conference yesterday, and so it's in that magazine. It's every financial person you could think of here in Charlotte, every business mind, and so they interview. They gave me a separate interview, and then they gave me a chairman interview. So it'd be I'm featured in there, and then also featured as a chairman of the
Right.
Black Chamber, but. It was again, Shane Collins at Invest Charlotte is amazing. He understood the assignment and he made sure we had a table near the front and he treated us with the most respect. And
Mm,
so yeah. Those things are like again, no matter what's happening outside, there
that's
are
right.
people that may not look like you that will value what you do
Yes.
when there are people of value.
That's right. When they're
Values.
people of value, that's such a profound statement. There are people that will value what you do when they are people of value. That's
Yeah.
good. And this, I know this just happened, like, I think
That
yesterday. I
was
was
yesterday, yes.
stage. And so, what is that? What was that event?
That was at Invest Charlotte.
Invest Charlotte. Okay, their fifth
I'm glad I
anniversary.
changed my suits up a little bit because I got to do a lot of different suits now. But at one point, I used to have one jacket, and
Oh,
I
and
just
you know what?
remember
It
those
doesn't matter. Some people
days.
have their trademark. People
Yeah,
associate me with these red glasses. These are
I love
reading.
it.
These are reading
But I
glasses.
know I was just thinking about like now God is good of just the little things. Even though a lot of the things that I have um were vintage or things like that, but I have just seeing the growth and going through the pictures and just seeing growth is amazing.
That's good. All right. Well, then I think that we've accomplished a whole lot today. I saw some more people putting comments. Vicky L. Evans said, "Yes, awards put you on the social radar, and others that haven't noticed you begin to notice you finally."
That
So,
is true.
and for what this is worth, and as I share my kind of some of my final comments here on this, and then please, I want you to have final comments too. I preached a message recently, and I talked about the fact that all of the different contributions and things that were made by African Americans, like ice cream, for example, with Augustus. I was like, "What? That was a big deal. No wonder I love ice cream so much." It was so many different things and that we have contributed to in society. But ultimately, at the end of the day, I'll share this particular scripture that we are one blood. And if we are understanding that prick our finger, we're going to bleed blood, red one blood. But at the end of the day, I believe that what makes us really bonded is our belief that our Lord and Savior is is bonding us all together. So if we could learn to have just love one to another and show that love to each other, regardless of our race, nationality, gender, whatever the case may be, life could just be a really beautiful place for all of us to exist. The world would be so much better, so
And
much
you
better.
know what? It is better when we stay in that pocket. When that's why I love traveling. When you stay in that pocket and you see that the world is like that, it's perception. Perception is really, there's somebody right now might be depressed and down and thinking the whole world is gloom day, and there's another person might be out in the sun running, having an amazing day, and the same things are happening for both. All of us are experiencing some of these things, and some of us we have our own individual experiences. But when we're talking about anti-DEI, it's impacting us all, and it's about perception, and it's about what you're going to allow to move you and or not, and that's back to the grounded thing. But I would say the thing I would leave my final um encouragement to everyone is to really embrace community and not get discouraged about the day-to-day cycles that we see, because those are intended to discourage you. Lean in on leaders and support them. A lot of times we see people doing things, we're like, they're amazing, but we don't really donate to them, we don't support them, we don't share what they say. And I'm not just talking about myself. I actually hope that I want people to emulate what I do. Not my event. Like, I don't want you to change it and call it, but not that, something else maybe, but more so when you see me share, I share consistently other people, and I made
Good.
it a habit. It wasn't a natural thing at first for me. It's just been like a molding of, no matter if I like it or not, or like the person don't like me, all of that stuff like that. I had to go past all of that years and years ago, and just know that at the end of the day, my job is to support all. I want to see all black businesses, all black consumers winning. And in that case, I don't care if the person don't like me or not. I want to see their business winning, and I need to show people leadership. I don't care if what I'm saying? Those things don't matter. It's like different mindset now for me. And so I think even if it's not natural for you,
Mhm.
I'm a giver natural, but it's not always natural to support those that don't support you, right?
Right. That's not how.
We a lot of time we look at it, oh, she ain't did this or he ain't did that for me. I'm telling you,
Yes.
the more you show people you see them, the more they will see you and give back to you and be grateful for you seeing them. That's
That's
all people want. They want to be seen.
very good. Well, I think that you have been seen today, and I think that you showed up in a wonderful, a very impactful way, and people on all of the different platforms have benefited from your presence today.
Thank you.
I just think that we can, as Maya Angelou often says, if we just do the best we can, but once we know better, then we have to do better. And
Yes.
today you exposed reasons why we should want to do better. And so thank you for being here today. And I thank you. I see you all still typing some comments. Blessings, blessings to you as well. Emilio said blessings to the family. And for all of you that tuned in today, and again, whether I acknowledged you or not, I see you, Lady Justine. I see you, Vicky. I see you, Lady Eleanor. I see you, Vicky. I see all of you guys. Shamar, Shalmar. I see all of you. I didn't get to. I see you, Malaysia. I see you, Felice. All of you guys. And I love. I'm like you. I love celebrating people, acknowledging people. I see you, Aloe, Bella. I see you, Birmingham, Dr. Alston. I see all of you guys. And thank you all for being here today. We are on Roku now as well. I do want to just put this picture up because this particular lady said, please do not let them bury my story. And with Black History Month just recently ending, and this is Miss Fletcher, and she's from the Tulsa, Oklahoma
Oh yeah.
massacre that happened in 1921. And I specifically just want to say that because her and the only two living survivors at this point, they're still trying to get things handled in court. But I just feel like it's always good to remember that she specifically said, don't let them bury my story. Don't let them bury my story from 1921 to now at 109 or 110, whatever age she is at this moment. Last I checked, she was 109, 109 years and still alive. Don't let them bury her story. So, y'all, whatever we can do to make our ancestors proud of who we are as we carry the baton and go forward. We're the people that are going to be somebody's ancestors in the future. So, what are we doing to build a legacy on this earth in a positive way, not one that's negative or hurtful, but what are we doing to leave a lasting impact for our children and our children's children? And even if they're not your own individual children from your body, other people's children, the community at large. So, all right, I think that's all I could think to say. And today I see you, Greenwood. Yes, and I see you saying love
Love
you.
you back.
Love you. Y'all, we appreciate you all tuning in today. Make sure you be in your virtual seats again tomorrow. I have a lady that she was paralyzed, and she actually ended up, she's back to doing some tremendous things. She has a generational turnaround story, and I am going to see if I can pop her picture up for a second, because she now walks, and she walks with a cane, and she is a powerhouse. Her name is Dr. Judy Ambrose James. She's going to be here talking about healing words and speaking life into future generations. You don't want to miss that, because she is a part of CTR Media Network as well. And in her category, she was #1. So I just want to make sure I acknowledge that. And also thank you, CTR Media Network, because in the self-improvement section, under the app on Roku, when you download CTR Media Network, the Kim Jacobs Show is there under the self-improvement section as the now #1 show over there. So thank you for all that you all do, CTR Media Network. All right, closing thought, comment, something you didn't say.
If you haven't started a business, I think my next thing is I want to help people get more comfortable in starting a business, because starting a business, if you don't have a business or own land, or a home, you the tax system was made up on Americans either owning a business or having land
Right.
for the tax benefits for that. So I encourage you, no matter what you're doing, if it's working a 9 to 5, doing a hobby, is to actually establish a business and not let the money side of it. You can start a business and you can do a lot of the work without money. A lot of the stuff that you can find, it may not get to the point where you can afford to get the LLC, but there's things that you can do as a sole proprietor till you get there. You know what I'm saying? And until you get to the level where you can add the other part
That's
of it. But I encourage you, if it's something you're passionate about, that you can see avenues to make revenue, I encourage you to start a business.
And if you have any question on how to do that, reach out to Cathay Dawkins. His information is right here, info@bboclt.com, or email him at bbocvendors@gmail.com. And he's very personable and approachable, and he wants to see you win. So
Yes.
we have our own kind of superhero person that God has knighted right here. We look at different Marvel movies and things, but imagine Cathay Dawkins, superhero, and
Oh, thank you.
that's a blessing from God. So, all right, I'm proud of you, like a proud parent over here with my cheeks burning. God bless you all, and yeah, thank you for tuning into the Kim Jacobs Show today. We'll be back tomorrow, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Stay backstage, Cathay. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of the Kim Jacobs Show, and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I look forward to seeing you, and make it a great day.